Hey there, it's the E-Man here, and in this video I wanted to take a look at my Sega Genesis collection that I have. Well, let's get into it then here. This is one of my favorite games. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Hyperstone Heist. Konami on the Sega Genesis. Yeah, essentially what a lot of you guys are thinking, of course, this was a kind of different version of a Turtles game for the Genesis. Like, the Super Nintendo had Turtles in Time, the Genesis had Hyperstone Heist. I love the artwork on it, it's pretty cool. This is a reproduction game and case and instruction manual, but I don't think you'd even know if it wasn't official or not. But yeah, pretty good game. I think the music is good, and the stages are a little weird, and there's a boss in it that's like from the Ninja Turtles movie, so it's a little bit weird, but good game. Game series I've played a lot, the Strike series, like Jungle Strike, the sequel to Desert Strike. What a weird thing to say, it's the sequel to something or other. Yeah, cool, like helicopter game. Yeah, cool, like a helicopter like game. I think you can get to a stealth fighter or a submarine or something. Yeah, different vehicles you can fly other than just the helicopter, but a top-down view, and you kind of use a helicopter. You gotta go missions to do, things to shoot down stuff. Pretty cool game. Oh, yep. Here's one of my particular favorite games. Sonic the Hedgehog 3. Yeah, and I happen to have the case and everything. I don't have the manual though, but Sonic 3. Now the interesting about Sonic 3 is that it's not a complete game. There's like a part of it, you know, I guess they had to put this game out quickly, I think for a McDonald's toy or something, so they had to like, so Sonic 3 isn't technically a complete game. But then of course leads into my other game I have, Sonic and Knuckles, which lock-on technology. You can do it with Sonic 2, you can allow you to play as Knuckles and everything. With Sonic 3, however, essentially completes the game. Like, Sonic and Knuckles is technically incomplete, so is Sonic 3, but when you put them together, voila. This is like how the game is supposed to be. Sonic 3 and Sonic and Knuckles. It's ultimately the way it's supposed to be. Now, for a while, I thought back in the N64 days that they were going to do this with Banjo-Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie, but of course they didn't. But yeah, lock-on technology. I don't know if this was ever used in any other thing besides the Game Genie. I don't think there's many, but yep, both really great games on their own. Really like playing as Knuckles. He's an interesting character. You know, it's back in the golden era of Sonic games. Of course, Sonic 3 had Michael Jackson influenced music on it. The newer collections do not have that music. They changed the music. Yeah, so yeah, you can beat the game as, you know, you get all the Chaos Emeralds in Sonic 3, and then you can like pretty much turn into Super Sonic and an extra whole final stage that you get to be on. It's pretty cool. But yeah, good game. Or good games, I should say. Oh, yeah, speaking of Sonic games, we got Sonic 1. Now, of course, this would be the game that came packaged in some Sega Genesis was Sonic 1. So that's why it was a not for resale thing. Okay. Yeah, it's an interesting game. Not as good as Sonic 2, but it's a good game. Yep. you could say Sonic 1 is kind of like Mega Man 1, where it was a good game, but it's nowhere as good as the second game is. Alright. Get some fighting games here. We got Clay Fighter. I heard this is probably the worst version of this game on here, but I wanted to have different games. You know, games are unique. Clay Fighter, fighting game. Basically, clay dudes. You gotta fight and stuff. I think it's an N64 version of this. You can play as Earthworm Jim or something. It's kind of weird, but yeah, interesting fighting game. King of the Monsters 2. This is of course completely different than the Super Nintendo version. Well, the Super Nintendo version of King of the Monsters 2 is more close to the arcade, where there's an actual stage you gotta go through and then you fight a boss. But this essentially has you on a stage and you're instantly fighting the boss. There's no bit of walking through the stage or something. You're like right on the boss, which I think is good if you want the full direct game where you're just basically what this is a fighting game. Because the first game, it's pretty much just like a fighting game or a wrestling game, but you're like freaking giant monsters and stuff. I like how you can do like wrestling grabs and certain kind of cool movements. Anyway, yeah, King of the Monsters 2. Which is a good game, I guess. Alright. Oh, welcome to Jurassic Park. Here we go, Jurassic Park. Great game. Well, I guess it's kind of divisive. You either like it or you don't. It's got some weird... Makes it kind of unique, the way it's kind of rather difficult system. A password system, so at least you don't have to worry about, like, continues or whatnot, but yeah, it's just a rather divisive game at times, but it's still a nice game to have in the collection, I think. The Rampage edition, I think it's a better version of this game, but anyway, yep, Jurassic Park. Oh, yep. We have the Terminator for the Sega Genesis. I really like this version of the Terminator game. I've played the Super Nintendo version of it, but I think I'd rather play the Genesis version. It's like the music, sound stuff is really cool. Yep, you will be terminated. Yeah, you'll be terminated if you don't play this. Yeah, yeah. The Terminator on Sega Genesis. Great game. Kind of hard though, but yeah, it's a good game. Alright. Alisher Dragoon, a weird pronouncement of it. I think Elysia Dragoon. I think a lot of people try to tell me that this was some kind of prequel to Panzer Dragoon, and no, I don't think that it is. She basically has a girl that shoots lightning to avenge her father's death. She has to fight some evil cult and defeat their demon leader. But she's got, of course, companion animals to use, and a hard game, but a very impressive game for the size of cart that it was, because it's one of the... Yeah, it's kind of before they did the red and stuff with the Genesis. It's like one of the first major things. Yeah, great game. I really like this game. You do make sure you find all the power-ups and everything throughout the game so you can get powerful enough, because it gets pretty brutal towards the end of the game. Yeah. Alright. Oh, and we have a game that a lot of YouTubers, I think, really like. Rocket Knight Adventures. Yeah, a lot of my Genesis games are loose. Don't really have them complete. But yeah. Yeah, a great game by Konami. There's a collection that recently came out of these games, because there's ones on the Super Nintendo, like there's another one on the Genesis, but this is, I think, particularly the good one. I think the rest of them kind of aren't really as good, but yeah, great game by Konami. Back when Konami made games that were Great. Oh, well, we're going to have another Konami game here, another Konami series. We got Castlevania Bloodlines for the Sega Genesis. Yeah, it seems that there's a lot of different games on the Genesis as opposed to the Super Nintendo. Like, this was Sega, this was Konami putting a Castlevania game on a Sega console when mostly Castlevania was on Nintendo consoles. So, yeah, a really great game. Like, two major characters, Eric Lecard and John Morris, which is supposedly the son of Quincy Morris from Bram Stoker's Dracula. Ever I watched on YouTube the final battle, and it's a little bit odd. Yeah, the timing is a little bit weird, because I'm like, how could Eric Lecard and John Morris as little kids have seen that battle? That doesn't make any sense. They were up in the mountains somewhere. Well, it's weird, but anyway. Yeah, I mean, so it was a very unique kind of title for the Genesis. It was the first Castlevania game, I think, to take place closer to modern times, like 1917. Well, more closer to modern times rather than the Middle Ages. It's kind of a unique Castlevania game because it kind of stands out with the rest of them. So I think the colors are kind of dark, but I think there was a lot of things that were done in this game to pay tribute to the original Castlevania games, which is why some of the movements were weird and stuff. Came out in 94, so I think a year after this came out, we got Dracula X. Yeah, but yeah, Castlevania Bloodlines, a great game. Alright. Let's see, we have a Spider-Man game, Separation Anxiety. The Evil Life Foundation. Yeah, the Evil Life Foundation has discovered, other symbionts. They're trying to create a symbiont army. So as Venom or Spider-Man, you gotta go take out the Life Foundation before they take over the world, essentially. It's a cool beat 'em up, but it is tough. You definitely need to find all the power-ups and whatever you can find. Yeah, pretty interesting game. Alright. Then we got Spider-Man Maximum Carnage, the special red cartridge. I believe the Super Nintendo cartridge did that too. Of course, it's by Acclaim. Yep, another interesting beat 'em up. It can be tough. Yeah, really tough. And as the other one, you really need to find all the power-ups and extra lives and stuff, because you're gonna need them. It's a tough game. Well, usually you're fighting like two bosses at the same time in some parts of it, but yeah, great game. Maximum Carnage, based, more on of course, on the comic books and stuff. It even shows clips of the comic books in the game, which is a unique kind of feature. Very unique, Oh, we've got Genesis. We got Viewpoint. I think it's a very unique kind of shooter. I'm gonna have to try to show some footage because I don't think I've ever really seen the footage of this game. It's a cool, weird, interesting perspective arcade game, I guess. But yeah, a great game. Oh yeah, I haven't really played this yet. I should probably get to playing it. But I believe it's a very good game. One of those rather unique games. Genesis. Oh, of course I have the Game Genie for the Sega Genesis. Nifty on-off switch, and yeah, basically just lock the cartridge on top of there, and you can set the bomb into your Genesis, and you've got Game Genie codes to use with a bunch of different games. And I got oh yes, and I even got the code book here. Yep. Well, nowadays, of course, you can go look online, of course, and get, find pretty much all the freaking codes for the Game Genie, pretty much. But back in the day, you had to subscribe to get these these game books, because before the internet it was really tough to find cheat codes. Usually you'd have to wait for a magazine to put them out or something, but it's kind of weird how things have changed so quickly. But yep, that was a Game Genie. A very interesting device. I should get the one for the Super Nintendo. Alright. Oh, yeah, and I will say that I did get the Sega Genesis Mini Model 2. Some Sega CD games and a few Genesis games are on here. Yep. Yeah, it's kind of interesting. I like these mini consoles. They're pretty cool. I have the Super Nintendo one, but yeah, I got the Genesis one. It's kind of cool. At least they give you like a 6-button controller this time instead of the 3-button controller. Oh yeah, it's got Night Trap, Sewer Shark. I forgot about that. Yeah, some Sega CD games are put on here. I don't know why they didn't give us other ones. It would have been cool if we had gotten, oh yeah, I think we were supposed to get Lunar Blue, but I guess in Japan they did, or what? I don't know why we didn't get the Lunar games or anything, or some other Sega CD games that were a lot better, but anyway. Yep. Genesis Mini 2. Oh, and of course I usually play most of my Sega Genesis games on my Model 2 Genesis. Has the Sega CD hooked to it. But I also have a Mega SG, one of those analog consoles. They're really kind of hard to get. Yeah, I had to like pre-order that one, and I almost forgot that I had even pre-ordered it because it took a while to finally get it. But yeah, what's unique is the Mega SG can connect to the Sega CD console. Yeah, and so you're able to get like HDMI quality through the Sega CD games as well. It's kind of cool. There's some settings sometimes you have to do on it, certain timing settings. And then of course you have to get used to the Sega CD. Is a little bit slow loading, but it's early CD console. The Mega SG analog console does not compatible with 32X, but I'd rather play the 32X on emulation rather than having to deal with all the cords. There's a lot of cords for just the Sega CD hooked into the Sega Genesis. Yeah. Oh yeah, I would say that, you know, yeah. Of course, I had a Sega Genesis growing up. I didn't really have a Super Nintendo, so the Genesis was really one of my go-to consoles, as well as the 8-bit Nintendo. Yep. Oh, well, I hope you guys liked my video here about my collection of Genesis games. I'm going to have to think about another video to do, because I think I've got a few other collections to probably talk about, but just wanted to get some of these collections out here. Well, I hope you guys liked this video. Please like and subscribe, and you know, I appreciate you guys watching this video, and I hope you liked it. So I will catch you guys in the next video. Later.